Welcome to Down the Barrel Podcast with Jimmy and Deano. Get ready to dive into the wild world of Minnesota hunting, trapping, and wildlife. We'll be chatting with some folks who protect, manage, and promote the great outdoors. But don't worry, we'll also have some laughs as we chat about guns, whiskey, and anything else that catches our eye. So grab a drink, sit back, and get ready for a good time. Down the Barrel Podcast is brought to you by the Minnesota Deer Hunters Association
and Wolf.Report. Wolf.Report, a platform dedicated to elevating the voices of Minnesota hunters, trappers, and outdoor enthusiasts. Join us in advocating for responsible wolf management in Minnesota. Share your reports, photos, and stories, and together we will ensure that they are seen by all.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association, protecting the future of deer and deer hunting through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and Wolf.Report proudly sponsor this podcast. However, please note that the opinions, topics, and guests featured may not necessarily align with the views, beliefs, goals, or mission of our sponsors. Down the Barrel. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Deano.
I'm Jared.
Hey, Jared's with us again today.
Awesome.
Yeah, we like having Jared around. He makes us look smart.
Wow.
Sound smart.
I try.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It doesn't take a whole lot.
It
sure is appreciated.
Oh, it very much
It's
is.
not a lot, but it's honest.
Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. So we had a couple cool things going on here recently.
Yeah.
We had the Itasca meeting.
Predator meeting.
Predator meeting, yes. Put on by the Itasca chapter of MDHA. We were at that, and that seemed really well received, and had some pretty good guests there. So I can't remember who was all there.
Yeah. No, it was a good meeting, and super grateful to the Itasca chapter for getting that set up and coordinating a bunch of speakers, myself included. So I was there. I talked a little bit about MDHA's history when it comes to wolf management, and then kind of what we need to do to move this issue forward, as well as support our deer herd when it comes to other predators beyond wolves, right? Because wolves are not the only predator. While they are the only one we can't currently manage, and we need to change that. We talked a bit about, the need for bear and especially coyote management as well. And then we had Dan Stark, who is the large carnivore specialist for the DNR.
Yeah.
Came in and kind of talked about wolf population trends over time, as well as I think he gave a good summary of where the DNR stands on the wolf issue, which is that they consider the wolf to be fully recovered, and that Minnesota is ready for a wolf season and can sustain a wolf season once we get them delisted federally. And then we had Pete Saar from USDA kind of talk about federal trappers and especially the livestock depredation issue and what they do to mitigate that problem. So it was a good event.
Yeah, I thought it really was. I thought Dan Stark did a really good job explaining, the DNR's role in it, and he unveiled a little bit about the wolf plan. He kind of touched on it, and I thought it was really neat how they do the numbers, how they get the numbers of the wolves or estimate, I guess I should say. And then he showed some maps of the wolf range and how it's expanded over the years, and that was really kind of neat. And then Pete had kind of touched on that a little bit as well. And then obviously with the, livestock predation and how they investigate it and everything like that. So it was really informative. I thought it was really good.
Yeah, there was definitely lots of information there. Thanks to the Itasca chapter for putting that on.
Yeah. No, that was really good. I wish, we had a few more of those going on. It would be great, but, it's kind of getting that time of year and everything. So, but it might be something to look at, in the near future, or even next season to see. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would absolutely love to host more of these or to be a part of more of these. We got a lot going on, and to take time to hold a meeting, and while beneficial, it does also take away from the other work that we do. So it was a good event, and I'm glad I was able to make that work. But I don't think I don't think our time is best spent, traveling around doing these meetings when
Right.
we could be, like, I'm assuming another event we're going to talk about down at the Capitol.
Yeah, day on the hill.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, trying to actually enact some of this change that we need to see.
Yeah. Well, as you all know, that we talked about the last couple episodes, day on the hill. We were down there, and that was pretty cool. The roads on the way down were a little bit sketchy at times, for sure. Yeah,
We still made it.
Snow was fine, right? You're just talking about the perpetual hell that is 94 through the cities, right?
Well, but we came down 35. So as soon as you hit, what is it, Wyoming? Yeah, Wyoming, White Bear Lake, right, Hugo area. Then all of a sudden slows down to a crawl for the most part.
But we still got there in time, I think. Maybe a little late.
We got there just
I know we left
before
awfully early.
Yeah, we got there just before 9. So yeah, we were right on time. I mean, we circled the Capitol 3 times trying to find a parking lot. Yeah, that was exciting. I haven't been to the Capitol in a long time.
Yeah, I went there once, I think in 6th grade. They let us go up top to the horses, too, the golden horses.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't
Those
think
are
let
awesome.
people do that anymore.
I got a picture of them, sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of from a distance. Did you put up that selfie picture of us?
You took that selfie picture.
I took that. I sent it to you, though.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Oh, man. I know I sent it on
You
Messenger.
did not send
I
it.
did too.
You did not send
All right,
it.
I'll have to check.
I was going to ask you today to send it. I was going to post it when I made that post on our Facebook page.
Yeah. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
But anywho, so that was pretty neat. We had, I'm trying to, 30-some.
Yeah, I would guess. I think for registrations, we had like 38.
Okay.
And then we did have a few people that reached out and said they weren't going to be able to make it with, the roads or whatever. So I think we did end up with right around 35.
Okay, good.
Yeah, which was really great. Members from, I think the furthest north we had was probably Virginia area.
Sturgeon River.
Yeah. And then we had folks from, our furthest southwest chapter down in Des Moines Valley, Windham area. Rochester was there. So folks from all over the state, that showed up. I was honestly super impressed with the crowd that we got, and that's what inspires me is when we provide this opportunity for folks to come and talk to their elected officials, and they take a day off of work, a Wednesday nonetheless, and can drive that far to come to the Capitol.
Right, especially in all the winter storm we've had this year.
Yeah, it's really inspiring, and I think true conservation happens at that level.
Absolutely.
And it was exciting for me to see.
Yeah, no, that was the first one I've ever been to.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so that was really unique. And from what I understand is it fluctuates throughout the years. I think somebody had said there's been as little as 8 to 10, and as many as pretty much what we had this year. Was at 35. So, and some may think that 35 out of as many members as we have is pretty low. But you got to consider volunteers. Everybody has a job, stuff like that. So it's just a matter of it's tough to be able to, it'd be great to get a couple hundred, but that's just, almost unfeasible, right? Impossible,
So with all the logistics of that, getting everybody there and making all the appointments to talk to your representatives, that's a lot.
Yeah, that was a cool thing that the lobbyist did.
I was going to say, thanks to that, I forget the company name, but
our lobbying. So Flaherty and Hood is the firm that we work with, and Eric signed.
Yeah,
So
it was Eric, and I forget the other guy's name.
Darren.
They were very helpful. I mean, very
Darren
helpful.
Lee.
Darren Lee. Yep.
Yeah, thanks to those guys, because they kind of set it all up, and then they got us lunch and kind of helped us find our way.
navigate through the Capitol and
keep
the office buildings.
The appointments on time and scheduled and stuff.
Yeah. They really did a great job scheduling, anyone who signed up to be at Day on the Hill. They had meetings with their representative and their senator.
They came down to the rotunda and watched our stuff while we were gone.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was great, honestly.
And then they, had all the time changes throughout the day, because obviously, these legislators are pretty busy, and last minute meetings come up all the time. We all understand that,
Right.
and of course the snowstorm, throughout the whole state didn't help, I'm sure. Yeah. So it was a matter of changing, times and everything around. So they did a really good job doing that, keeping us informed.
Yeah.
And then
they had coffee and donuts.
Right.
Boom.
Yeah. That was definitely welcomed after the 4 hour. I think it took us 4:20 to get to the cities.
Right. We showed up and coffee and donuts were ready. Rock and roll.
Yep. Which we kind of anticipated, just the roads, and I'm glad we did, because we showed up in the nick of time. and then I think Senator Howe was our first legislator to address us as a group. So that was pretty neat. He had a lot to say even about the shotgun
zone. He was big on the shotgun zone.
Yeah. Big supporter of ours on eliminating the shotgun zone. And I think he really gave a good perspective on his lifelong relationship with deer hunting and what it means to him.
And on that point, I think being from up north my whole life, I always assumed that was because of safety, where they only let them use shotguns down there.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned that that's not true.
Right. Most people would assume that if they did.
That's what we always discuss at your camp. Well, they can only use shotguns down there because, they're going to shoot too far and kill somebody, but that's not why they did it.
No.
Right. It was strictly harvest management when it was initially implemented. But now if you look at the current argument against removing the shotgun zone, it's all safety.
Right. Yeah. With the data from Wisconsin, when they did it, they said, 40% safer. So it makes sense if you think about it.
Right. And I don't want to give half truths or half information. Right. So yes. So Wisconsin moved to statewide rifle in 2013.
Right.
And the season immediately after that change, there was a 40% decrease in hunting related firearms incidents.
Okay.
But the year following that, they were back up to, where they were the year before. But basically there was, and this is what I always say, there was no increase in firearms related hunting incidents.
Right.
And so that alone proves that the safety argument is null and void.
Well, I think it's just false to start with, because that wasn't why they created the shotgun zones.
Well, no. And then I've talked to guys around the Alexandria area that do a lot of predator hunting. And so they're out there throughout the whole winter and, spring and everything with 22 to 50s, 6.5s, coyote hunting.
Right.
And they're shooting across, huge fields and whatnot. So they can do that, just not, during deer season. So to them, it doesn't make sense. I go, that's a
valid point.
That's a valid point. Yeah, exactly. So where you can use high caliber rifles any other time of the year for predator hunting.
Or target shooting.
Shooting. Yeah. But you can't use it for deer season, which just, it's not about the safety issue of it.
Right. No. And my biggest argument is the data has shown that it's not a safety issue. It's not a harvest issue, because also in 2013, actually the 5 years before Wisconsin went to rifle statewide compared to the average harvest the 5 years after, the harvest was higher with the shotgun zone in place than it was after the shotgun zone was eliminated. So the over harvest concern is also irrelevant at this point.
Yeah.
So my biggest argument is this is about access to hunting for especially that young hunter, that I once was this young hunter that mowed lawns all summer to save up for my first firearm, right? And I was living within the shotgun zone at that time, and I had a choice to make. Do I want to buy a firearm that I can use to hunt down here or my family's cabin up north, or public land up north, or, elk out west, right? Why are we limiting our already declining hunter base to what firearms they're able to purchase to have success no matter where they want to hunt, right? Let's allow them to buy one firearm that will allow them to be successful anywhere in the state of Minnesota or anywhere else that they might be fortunate enough to draw a tag.
And more accurately,
right?
Oh, exactly. That's the thing that I've heard too. It's just the accuracy alone,
right?
You know,
because if you shot a shotgun and you shot a rifle, you know the difference.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And I think that the whole shotgun zone is it's a relic of a different age in deer hunting.
Yeah, what's from the 40s, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and it's when we had deer drives and people blasting away at running deer, right? And then we had this huge push. Well, and then we had this huge push for fair chase and ethical kills, right?
Yeah.
Like the new standard for a successful hunt, at least in my book, is one shot, one kill,
right?
And a quick, ethical kill. And it's not as easy to get that with a shotgun.
Right.
For sure. Especially, down there, they got lots of open areas. You can see those deer out there. People are taking those shots.
Mm-hmm.
A shotgun just isn't going to do. They give them a 243, they might have a chance.
Yep.
Unless their name's Dean.
Or if they have a 6.5.
My other thing on the shotgun zone was going to be, there's a lot of people that say, well, why don't we just adopt the straight wall cartridge like Ohio and a few other states have? Iowa, Ohio has it too, I believe, right?
They very well could.
Although they might have changed it, and I guess I'd have to look again. But I've heard that a lot too. Well, why don't we just in the shotgun zone adopt straight wall cartridge
stepping stones instead? I love my 450. I really do like that.
Yeah, but again, it's why I don't know, go big or go home, I guess, in a way.
And honestly, they have more open area down there. They might need rifles down there. Where up here, it kind of makes sense almost more because there's so many trees. You don't get all those long shots.
Right, very rarely unless you're on a power line.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah. We still don't get that long of shots.
Yeah.
Or at least we should.
Yeah. Well, and I'm more than open to, the let's call it an incremental change. Right. Let's start with straight wall cartridges and then see how that works. And then eventually we can move to, all legal firearms, which is how the legislation is currently written. And if I'm not mistaken, that is what Iowa did. Yeah. They went straight wall cartridge, realized it was fine, and now it's, for the most part, I think all legal firearms too. Wisconsin just went straight to all rifle.
Right. How do you feel this, maybe even, I don't know, you probably have a little bit more handle on it. How do you feel that it would go this year? I mean, is it pretty positive outlook from the senators that we heard from? It seems pretty positive for the most part.
Yeah.
It could go through, but...
Well, and I don't know if you meant to use senators intentionally or not, or if you were referring to legislators. Or,
yeah.
Which, either way, you're correct.
I get confused easily.
No, you're good. But so this switch to rifle statewide has a lot of support in the Senate.
Okay.
So if you were speaking to senators, yes, it's, Senate passed it last year. It's the House where we're running into a lot of issues on this.
Okay.
Now, do you think that's because of ignorance? Can I say that in the nicest way possible? I don't mean it to be mean, but just because they don't maybe understand.
I think it comes down to an age-old problem in politics, which is that if there's an issue out on the table being debated and you are adamantly against that issue, I don't know the actual statistics, but you are 10 to 100 times more likely to contact your representatives or senators when you're against an issue than when you're for it.
Oh, yeah.
And so, they're getting these phone calls all the time. I know this legislation is out there. I live in, the shotgun zone, I want to see it stay a shotgun zone because I'm afraid that we're going to have these errant bullets flying everywhere.
Which can happen with the shotgun too.
But then they might get, that one call that's, I want firearms, all legal firearms statewide. But they're hearing so much more against an issue than they are for, and that's across the board. Like we could bring this back to the wolf issue. Right. For every call that they get that says delist the wolf, let's have a wolf hunt in the state of Minnesota, they're overpopulated, they're probably getting 10 to 20 that say we love wolves, protect them at all costs. Right. And that's an issue that we really need our members and our hunters and our conservationists around the state to call on every issue that matters and let them know where you stand.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I guess a plus side of that is there are some legislators that are listening to their constituents and doing what they're
absolutely
supposed to do, voted in to do.
Right.
Where there's probably a few out there that may not listen to their constituents 100%.
Right, because you met with your senator, right?
Yeah, legislator, senator. Yes, senator. Yes,
right.
I did.
Because that was what we did down there. We went down there and everybody met with their individual senators or representatives if they were available.
Correct. Yep. And, my representative was unavailable, Representative Bliss, and I could have left him a note. I did not, although I do think I am going to shoot him an email and, just say, hey, we were down there for this, blah, 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 talk about, what we have going on and everything like that. So, but yes, I did meet with Senator Green, who is my newer legislator due to redrawing of the lines.
Right.
So this was the first time I've actually ever even knew or conversed with Senator Green, honestly. So I didn't know he was my legislator until I got down there and go, oh, that's who it is. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So you and I met with him, Jim.
Yeah. I had a meeting at the time. So
yeah. So you went with me and we met with him and it was good to meet with him. And I kind of knew who he was prior to this. I did my little research, believe it or not. And we'll just say that he's not exactly the
most welcoming guy in the world. If you're from MDHA.
Yeah, he's not an MDHA fan. Let's put it that way.
I didn't seem to really at all.
Did he give a reason?
He did. I'm
assuming this is the same Senator Green that's been involved in the Pete Stauber meetings that I've been at.
You would be correct.
Okay.
Yep. So we walked in, he did greet us really well, and sat down. And so my first question was, so obviously we're here today for MDHA. So what do you know about MDHA? And he goes, oh, I know a lot. So, okay, good. Well, so this should be a really quick meeting. And I said, well, what are your feelings on MDHA? Because I obviously knew already. He says, well, I'm not the biggest fan because you guys' land grab techniques, or I don't know the exact words, but it more or less stated that we as MDHA purchase land
and make it public.
Yeah. He didn't like that aspect of it.
No.
And so it's like, okay, well, I don't think we purchase as much land as what you think we do. Oh, yeah. Yep. You guys purchase land over the state, give it back to the public. And that takes away from people who, want the American dream to, buy land and hunt on it and pay taxes and everything like that. It's like, okay, well, I understand the American dream. Yep. I agree with that. I myself would love to own land. But I foresee legislators have overtaxed some properties over the years to make it almost out of certain people's reaches. And so it's like, okay, he stated that. So with that knowledge, I went back. It's like, all right, so he's not liking MDHA because of our land acquisitions. Mm-hmm. I tried to correct him a little bit on, it's like, well, I don't think we purchase an acquisition enough land is what you think as what we actually restore, for habitat. He goes, no, it's your land acquisition. So I go back to the office.
Mm-hmm.
So this morning I looked it up. I talked to our habitat person, and our grant person who handles all that. Yeah, Kim Washburn. Mm-hmm. Talked to her a little bit, and she gave me these sheets of everything. So as of looking from, and this goes back, looks like 2010, give or take, and acquisition acres accomplished, 5,700 acres.
That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a lot, right?
It sounds like a lot.
It does sound like a lot. So with that knowledge, and MDHA does not really pursue the acquisitions of land, right?
No,
we're not
at all.
Yeah, not in the business to own land, correct?
No.
Right.
When we acquire land, it's because either the state or the county or some other entity has reached out to us and said, this land is becoming available. We would love to see it be preserved as wildlife habitat, open to the public. Could you help us out in acquiring and donating back to, again, this, when we say the state, we mean to the residents of the state, right?
Yeah.
So we have gotten grants and acquired, was it over 5,700 acres?
And that's over your entire history, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
As far back as 2010. Yeah. When a county reaches out and says this land's becoming available, we don't want to see a developer come in.
Right.
Can you help us out? Can you acquire this, donate it back to us, so we can preserve it for the citizens of the state of Minnesota?
Right.
Yeah, we will do that.
Right.
But we're not out there, waiting for John Smith to sell off his 200-acre piece of land so we can buy it.
Right. Because if you guys could get some southern Minnesota lands, we could go hunt on it down there. That'd be
exactly.
There is a bit down there.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah.
So
bring your shotgun.
Right. For now. Well,
I'm going to have to buy another gun, dang it.
Yeah. So 5,700 acres. And I'm going to ask you, Jim, how many acres do you think is total in Minnesota?
I don't know, probably roughly, just a guess, 51 million.
You cheater. Yes.
What is it, 51.2?
Yeah, 51.1, 51.2,
So what's the percentage have you guys restored, recovered, get back?
Out of the 5,700 acres, now I'm not exactly a mathematician here, but
what'd your calculator tell you?
Yeah, it told me 0.011%
of all the land in
Minnesota. MDHA's acquired.
So not even 1%. Like barely on the scale, honestly.
Yeah.
And the land that you did do that to, everybody in the state can use, even non-members.
Correct. So,
non-hunters.
Correct.
Yeah.
So your senator's argument was what?
MDHA does a land grab and acquires land, purchases land, and turns it over to public land. Pretty much just public land. Didn't even say to the state, to the counties, to the DNR. Probably the DNR. I'm sure he's got a gripe with that. So after looking at this, so I've got a little pie chart. I didn't create it, obviously. This comes from the DNR. 76% of Minnesota land is private.
Yeah.
11% is state.
Well,
6% is county managed state land.
Right.
7% is federal. So the DNR manages 5.6 million acres of state land. I just thought that was actually kind of unique.
So how much was private land?
76%.
Okay. So over 3/4 of the state is private already.
Yeah. And about 20. So here's another statistic. You had all those 11, 6, and 7. About 24% of Minnesota lands are public lands. More than 12 million acres. Federal, county land on behalf of the citizens of Minnesota.
Right.
And obviously
the national park, it's state park.
Right. Yep. And so then, I think his biggest gripe was obviously probably the pay in lieu of taxes
Right.
So you want to
Yeah.
collect more taxes.
And I can somewhat understand that argument, but at the same time, I
don't.
Well, I would say that this point, this supposed land grab, in some ways is coming from a position of, let's call it privilege, right?
There you go.
If you are a private landowner that has your hunting land already set aside for you,
You probably don't care.
you don't care if organizations like MDHA are out there preserving and restoring, and yes, sometimes on occasion acquiring and donating public land for the average person to be able to have access to hunting and outdoor recreation.
So they have something to show for their tax dollars.
Right. So yeah, you might not care if you already have your own land, but we're not here for the private landowner. We're here for the average Minnesota hunter and our wild deer herd to ensure that both have quality habitat to either live in, thrive in, or hunt in.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and my other, argument was, okay, so you don't like the land grab. All right, that's fine, whatever. But all the other things that MDHA does, the full corn camps, the education end of it, the hides for habitat, everything like that. Then when you look at it, the majority of Minnesotans, 82%, consider outdoor recreation to be an important part of their lives.
Yep.
Well, how many acres have we helped restore to turn back to the public? That 82%. It is. What did you say? A couple 80,000? Pretty close to 80,000.
Just over 80,000, and that's our official public land grant-funded projects.
Yeah.
We also have a number of projects that we do at the chapter level that aren't even counted in that tally, and that's anything from food plots to bud capping, or you name it. But that is the official, at the state level, grant-funded.
Right.
Minnesota Deer Hunters Association has been building our hunting and conservation legacy over the past 40 plus years through habitat, education, advocacy, and legislation in Minnesota for Minnesota.
So then we went from the land thing, and then I had asked Senator Green, as we asked all of our legislators, the wolf bills that MDHA has out, and I said, as I'm sure you well know, that we have MDHA has 2 wolf bills out that are, bipartisan. They're backed by Democrats and Republicans, obviously. So what are your thoughts on that? And he had stated that he's partnered with a couple other bills, and that about the only way to get it across now is to sue the federal government, sue the feds. It's like, okay, there's a lawsuit. And I said, okay, but what does that mean for Minnesota? I mean, you've got these Minnesota bills out, in the House and Senate. Do those have to go first, or are you just automatically going straight for the kill, more or less? Didn't really specify anything. So, and then I also asked, okay, so you have your own bills that you back for the wolf, for the wolf hunt and everything. And I said, but what about the 2 that MDHA has? Didn't say a word. It's like, so would you back those bills along with yours as well? Every wolf bill, are you going to back every bill that's out there and sign on to it? Because obviously, I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand why there's 7 bills.
6 or 7, yeah.
Yeah, but I just don't get it. And he's, and he just kept reverting back to his bill. So that just doesn't make sense to me.
Right. It's like, if any of them gets through, you should be supporting it, right? Because they all basically say the same thing.
Well, and I think you're assuming, and don't get me wrong, I want to assume the same thing, right? That our legislators are there to affect change.
Right.
That's what we all want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the reality is they want to be seen as the instigator of change.
Right.
So if that bill doesn't have their name on it, they don't truly care about the issue in the end. They just want to be the champion of the issue. When in reality, if a legislator truly cares about wolf management, they will support whatever legitimate wolf bill makes progress.
Right. So say, the ones that MDHA backing gets a hearing. By all means, everybody who put a wolf bill on should support that one.
That would make sense.
Right. Say it's not one of the bills that, MDHA put forward, but it was another wolf bill. I would hope or expect that even the backers of our bills would go, okay, mine didn't get a hearing. The one we wanted to get a hearing, but you know what? Let's kind of push this one. Maybe we can amend it or adapt it as it goes along through the hearing, and let's back it, because obviously from what I could read, all the wolf bills, at least from the very beginning of them, the first half of the wolf bills, all say the exact same language for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. And I get there's probably a few wolf bills that, have some other extreme stuff added into them, which whatever, but 7 aren't going to get a hearing. Mm-hmm. There's no way, but only 1 or 2 are. So let's back those that will get us where we want to go. Not only us as MDHA, us as Minnesota hunters.
Yeah. Well, and when I met with my local representative, Representative Igo, who found out we're basically neighbors. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, he's been a champion of wolf management from the very beginning, right? And so I kind of asked him in some regards an ignorant question of, why don't I see your name on any of these bills this year? And I at least appreciated the honesty in his answer, which was that, he's been there from the start. According to him, he authored the first wolf bill in 2021, I think he said. And he's not going to, throw his name on everyone else's attempt to do the same thing. But when push comes to shove and one starts making progress, you bet your ass he's going to vote in favor of it.
Well, there you go.
Right. And
that's all right.
That's a good answer.
That is a good answer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's reasonable.
Right.
Yeah.
And I heard that from my Senator Eichhorn.
Correct.
He said pretty much the same thing, because he says he puts a wolf bill out every year.
Yep.
But we did ask him, if the bills that we're here to push, the MDHA bills, make progress, would you support them? He said, absolutely.
Yeah, that was very positive. I like hearing that rather than,
they didn't support my bill, so I can support their bill. We heard that a little bit too.
Yeah, we heard that a little bit.
My representative said that.
And I just don't get that. It's like, really, are we back in the schoolyard?
I know. I just, and that I felt that a lot down there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so sad that it's become so political and so two-sided.
Right, that nothing can get done.
Although one senator did, he said, it's not so much Democrats versus Republican. It's more or less, and I would probably agree to this. That it was more cities versus
rural.
Yeah, everybody else. Which I can see that, and if that was the case, it's like, man, does the cities have that much power?
Well, there's a lot of people down there,
but yeah, they do.
What Minnesota is the longest running blue state in the country, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
And it's the cities.
Well, yeah, right. I mean, most of the people live down there.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the map. I remember looking at the map of election season. Whole state's red. You got blue dot.
When you go in Duluth and Shore,
the cities and Duluth, and then that one is like St. Cloud,
Hennepin and St. Louis County.
Right, that's where all the people live. I mean, that's
exactly.
Right. I mean, it's basic math, really.
Exactly, and that's where can it be frustrating? Absolutely.
Oh, it is. Yeah,
but at one person, one vote.
Right.
You can't really. I don't know. I'm probably going to get shot for saying this, but you can't really argue with one person, one vote.
No, you really
can you?
No.
And I will say,
is your vote worth more than mine because you live up here? I live up here too.
But I will say that a lot of people from the cities do, like you said, own property up here and come up here to recreate. So I'm assuming a lot of them probably take that into consideration too.
Right.
I would hope so.
I don't want to put everybody in one basket.
No, I don't either. But it's just, it is frustrating to hear, and we heard it multiple times throughout the day.
Right.
Them versus us versus them. They don't scratch my back, I don't scratch theirs. Honestly, come on. What are you going to do to get your constituents that you say you work for and are there for? What are you going to do to get their stuff done? And maybe that's where us as constituents need to be more vocal.
Right. Get something done.
And then you're going to know who's truly doing what you want them to do. I mean, I get it. They probably get issues from the Wolf Bill to...
Oh, gosh. Probably things we don't even hear about.
Exactly. You know, probably the most mundane things that you wouldn't think anybody would even legislate on. They probably get, you know, brought up, which... But again...
Right, because we heard that yesterday, too, that it's not really that high of a priority for them, which I'm assuming when they're dealing with life and death kind of bills. I get that.
Yeah, or taxes.
Yeah, right. There is a lot of other things going on for them. And we're just, you know, a percentage of their constituents. Yeah.
Yeah.
But these, you know, some of them take it seriously. Other ones were almost unaware of it seemed like.
Well, and that's where, you know, I mean, a huge appreciation to all of the senators and representatives that met with myself or any of our members yesterday.
Very thankful for that.
Yeah, but huge shout out to, you know, Howe, Kupek, Drzeskowski, Listlegard, Schultz, that took the time to actually come down to the rotunda and address the whole group, you know.
Yeah. And that reminds me, Schultz. He said a few things that I didn't even know about. He had mentioned the wolf number depredation money. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then he had mentioned the survey bill, which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Do you know much more about that survey bill?
I do. Yeah. So it's basically current practice with the DNR wolf population estimate. It used to be done once every 10 years. And then I think there was a short time where it was done once every 5, but we now are at an annual basis, right, for a wolf population estimate. Mm-hmm. But that study is conducted in the current estimated wolf range.
Right.
Where, I mean, you're running wolf report.
Right.
How often do we get reports outside of that wolf range?
All the time.
Yeah. And so Representative Schultz has introduced this bill that would mandate an annual wolf population estimate that takes place statewide. So not just within the wolf range, but any verifiable sighting throughout the state would be included in the hopes of getting more accurate.
And that seems like an easy yes to me for anybody. Right. I mean, why wouldn't you? We're talking about the state of Minnesota, not just partial.
Right.
The state of Minnesota.
Well, that was
the first I heard of it.
Yeah, that was the first I heard of it too. And that was one thing that we even talked about with ICORN is, you know, is it communication? Obviously, we all know communication can be better across the board with our legislators, with MDHA, with everybody. But that was one question we asked. Like, we didn't know that you back a wolf bill every year, right? You know, or what bills are you backing? We don't know, even as your constituents. And I guess maybe, you know, because we don't go to their website all the time, the Republican caucus or whatever it is, and check it. But
and then and he agreed that, you know, there could be improvement there, which was nice to hear because, I mean, it could be our fault, it could be their fault, but it's like, you know what's important, and we do, so we just need to communicate better. Yeah. And he was very open to that.
Right, and that's where even I noticed on a few legislators, you know, sign up for our newsletter.
Right.
Perfect. Mm-hmm. Then that way we know what's going on. And honestly, since I'm kind of right in between a couple legislators, you know, to where I live in one district, but I recreate in another district and hunt or whatever it works. So it's, I want to know what both are doing.
Right.
But that even, you know, leads me back to MDHA. You know, if you don't know what's going on, at least, you know, subscribe to some newsletters and research it before you just jump to conclusions and know what's going on. Because yes, communication can be better across the board, but if you don't actively pursue it, I guess is probably the best statement. You know, if you don't actively pursue it, you're not going to know So that's where
Right.
you should want to be in the know.
Well, I learned a lot from just yesterday being down there.
Oh, I did too.
Just in a survey bill. I'd never heard of that.
Nope.
But it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Well, right, because that was one thing I remember Dan Stark talking about at the Itasca meeting was, we kept alluding to these numbers are only from the wolf range,
Current accepted.
the current accepted wolf range.
Right.
But he did state that, these are the numbers from there. This is where, the wolf range has extended, but we only accept the original wolf ranger.
Right.
So it's just,
Well, yeah. I mean, when we were down there, I had somebody come up to me and say they had a wolf. They wanted to make a wolf report for Okoboji, and that's out in Iowa. Okoboji. Somebody had a picture of a wolf in Okoboji. I'm like, send it to me. I want to see this.
Wow.
And they're supposed to send it to me, but so we'll see.
Yeah, I would love to see that as well.
That's what I saw.
Just hopefully it's not, misidentified
Right.
patterns. Yeah.
I remember, so we were walking in. That's where we were lost. I think we walked around the Capitol and Rotunda, I don't know how many times, trying to find, guys with orange hats that we had in our bin, by the way. So this gentleman walks up to us and, sees our shirts and whatnot and asks us what's going on. We say who we were. He goes, hey, I just bought some property and I want to know about how to restore it or, kind of get more habitat, more deer habitat on it and everything. It's like, yeah, dude. Check us out, MDHA, and everything. So we obviously did a little bit more than that, but it was really good. He goes, yeah, I really appreciate it. He goes, this is turning into a great day at the Capitol. I walk in, I see you guys, we talk about habitat and how we can help him, he can help us, and it was a 5-minute conversation. Boom. Hopefully a member.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, and we did get a few members, we had some senators and representatives that, turned in applications.
And that's great because, when you consider how many groups probably like ours, maybe not a lot, but I'm sure they get different interest groups. Obviously we're a lot different than that. But they probably get people all the time asking for money and blah, 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 which obviously they can't do. But, I would think if they're really going to support us, they should be a member.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think anybody from this area for certain should be a member of Northern Minnesota.
You would hope. But even, look at how many chapters statewide. Look at how many chapters we got everywhere. Right. So,
but they just don't have an excuse to say they haven't really heard about us here.
Locally, yeah, for sure. I would say within a good hour. Well, I would probably say within, 100 miles of Grand Rapids. There's no reason that you haven't heard of us because and we're here.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially, I think, every representative we talk to were deer hunters.
Yeah, even Davis had a great deer picture.
That was 13 beautiful. Points, I want to say.
Right. Yeah.
Did he say it was like 260?
No, I don't think it's 260, but
no, that was another.
That was Howe.
That was Howe. Yeah,
he was talking about his best buck he got.
Yes, that was.
I want to say he got it. It was like 22 or something
like that.
Right.
So yeah, I remember that. But yeah, Davis, he showed us a few pictures.
Yeah, it was a beautiful deer.
So that was kind of cool to.
And that was Crow County he shot there.
Yeah. So that was pretty neat to look at that and.
Well, it's just good to know that they're deer hunters.
Compare deer pictures. That was pretty cool.
I didn't have anything to show.
You didn't show anything.
I didn't have anything to show.
Yeah,
I played with wolves.
That is awesome. But no, it was a really good day. It was really fun to be down there. Other than getting lost.
Yeah, it was quite the experience. I think anybody that has the opportunity, join the MDHA and come down to Deano, you will learn a lot and you get to meet some very interesting people.
Yeah, and then just the buildings and everything within itself is just really
gorgeous.
And it's just really neat and just the atmosphere and I don't know, it's an experience for sure that people should do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next year.
It's it's where conservation is put in action.
Right.
Yes.
And you don't often think of it that way because the land and the wildlife that we're working to protect live about as far from that building as you can get.
So world apart for sure.
Yeah, but those halls are where you affect the change for that outstate. So it's really cool to be a part of that.
Yeah, it really is. And obviously, we are not comfortable being in the cities or that.
No, you guys dressed like you were attending a Kid Rock concert.
Not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, nobody told me to wear a nice shirt. I wore camo, okay?
Yeah,
I wore camo.
I should have worn camo, but it was cool. I will, and even the legislator said it is really cool to see. Even though there's 35 of us, orange hats walking around the Capitol.
Yeah.
We walked outside.
We could see them from blocks away.
There's 5 or 6 of them walking over to the Senate building or walking over to the House building. It's like that.
Well, and I even at one point, was leading a meeting and everyone was kind of dispersed, and I saw a couple orange hats across the street. So I was like, I'll go see what members those are. And I got over there, and no, it was Congress people, that had received some MDHA hats, and they were still wearing them proudly. So
that is awesome. That's good to see. Yeah. Yep. That's
sure.
very cool.
So, Dean, after the whole day yesterday and doing all that, are we announcing your election run?
After walking through the halls and everything, I think it is. I think I do great too.
I think you do great, man. I think you can shake things up.
I don't know. I don't know if it'd be senator or representative. I prefer representative.
Hey, the Senate building was way better than the representative building. That's all I'm saying.
Was it?
Oh God, yeah.
I get confused. Which one's
the house is a little old.
Okay,
yeah.
But that Senate building, that was nice.
Yeah,
you can get a sweet office up there.
That was good. I can see
the tunnel is still open to the Senate.
Right.
Yes, right. That's right. That was that was easy. Although we almost got lost twice.
Oh, more than that.
In the tunnel. It's a one-way, man. It's just one. It's literally.
You do realize
everything's in 3D
who we are. Yeah. But no, yeah. I mean, there might be a future endeavor. I might write your name in. Representative Jimmy.
I'm gonna have to hear your platform before I
my platform
vote for you.
Yeah, actually,
give me your pitch here.
I'm gonna why am I gonna give you? He's the one running.
This is for both of you. Why should Jared Mazurek vote for Jimmy and Deano or Deano?
I think.
Are you running against each other?
Oh yeah, we're gonna be the first.
We're gonna be the first duo
senator.
Yeah,
senator and vice senator.
Right. You get 2 and 1, or 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
I don't know.
1 vote, 2 people. Boom.
Boom.
Twice the amount of work. Twice the amount of bullshit.
Yeah, I think that would work good.
I'm going to be the vice. I'm going to be the senator. You're going to be the vice senator.
The vice senator.
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Vice senator.
Vice senator.
What is our platform? Everybody has to hunt. No.
So far, you have my vote.
Right. Yeah, I mean, runner's rights above all.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Everybody has to do medicine.
Yeah. They don't have to.
No, they didn't. Just you can get a beef burger. You can get medicine.
Honestly,
I'm working this on this weekend.
Yeah, right. I mean, honestly, I think it would just be outdoors, men and women for all. Anything we will back anything that is reasonably effective for the outdoors, the public land. I mean, public and private land hunter, but obviously public land because they have a little bit more hurdles to go over because of, the amount of public land and stuff they have to deal with.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to push for wolf management.
Oh, for sure. I was just going to say management of all species.
Right. No, well, we can't go that far.
What party are we running?
We'll make up our own.
Yeah, exactly. I think we'll do
the MDHA party.
Yeah.
Right. Final question.
Down the barrel party.
The DTB party.
Yes.
DTB. Oh, DTB.
Right. Final question. Honesty and integrity. Oof. Party.
Oof. Honesty and integrity every day of the week.
Well, I think our that's what DTB is.
Pretty much.
We'll be probably too honest, honestly.
These party lines they've just gotten too thick.
I feel like maybe it's an excuse not to do anything.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, I think it'd be great. I think we'd be great at it.
Right. Just think, if you're at work, let's say you're working, whatever you do at MDHA, and somebody else is in the office next to you, and you're like, I ain't going to do it because they're not going to do it. You know, they don't like me because I don't like them.
Right.
That's an excuse. I'm sorry.
Pretty much.
I expect you to be professional and get stuff done.
Exactly.
When I was down at the Capitol, the most professional thing I saw was the clothes.
We the people. I don't know what you're going with that. I don't know either. For the people.
It's
We the hunters.
very, very
We the
important two
hunters.
words, right?
Yep. We the people.
I think that's where you were.
Or for the people.
Well,
We
they
the people or for the people?
for the people.
For the people.
I don't know what you're asking.
We don't know either.
I was saying we the people. Very
Yes.
important three words, right?
Yeah.
But I liked what I thought I heard you say, which is we the people are for the people.
There you go. We the people.
I don't know. Maybe
For the
this
people.
Jared guy should run.
You know, I think he
Not
is pretty.
Yeah.
He's he's pretty, and he's definitely more versed than we are.
I think we could get him elected.
No.
I'm thinking, yeah,
Definitely senator.
senator. Well, the building's way cooler, so I'm going senator because that building's way better. But the SC's
I don't know if my wife is going to support that.
well, if she votes against you, she has that right.
She does.
Have that
She
right.
does. But
No.
if she votes against me, it also leaves me.
Well,
Then I don't have a house. And
yeah,
I
we
have
got
to
more
live
time
in
to
your
work for hunting
basement.
rights. You don't want to live in my basement. Because
Exactly.
that should work.
One vote.
One vote. One vote. Yeah, gets rid of you.
Yeah.
Gets rid of you.
Oh, man.
But just think, you can work down there all the time next to the Moscow on the hill or whatever that place is. I want you to say
Moscow on the hill.
I want you to say your name though.
Yeah. What beer did we have down there?
Ziviec. The
With
Polish
the-
beer.
Yeah, number one.
Number one beer in
It
Poland.
is actually really good. Really good.
It was really
And if
good.
you don't know this by now, Mazurek, it's about as Polish of a name as you can get.
That's how it is.
Other than Sobieski.
That's pretty Polish.
Debatable.
Debatable.
I don't know about Polacks. Is that what you say? Is that a derogatory term?
In certain contexts.
I didn't mean it that way.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah, that's what
I wear that badge proudly.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, that Ziviec.
That beer was good.
That was good. I mean, it spelled like Ziwiec.
Yeah, the spelling was good.
I don't know how you get it.
Zywiec.
There's no B in it.
No, what is it? The
But
W.
if anybody at Super One Liquors listening, if you could get some of that, we would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Ziviec.
Speaking of liquor, we're having a little toddy today, and Traveler.
It's pretty good stuff.
Yeah. Can you grab that?
Very brown sugary.
Let's just. Can you read it? Let me give me
You're the
that.
one that wanted it.
All right. Traveler whiskey, blended whiskey.
Are we recording advertisements now?
Evidently. These guys gave us
That was
$100
really
million.
cool.
Did
So,
they? That's
I was trying to think. Oh, here we go. Proudly blended and bottled by Buffalo Trace. That's why we like it.
right.
Yeah, I love both.
Yeah, this is like
Jason Thompson, if you're listening, this one goes out to you.
Yeah.
There we go. Does he like Traveler?
He likes Buffalo Trace.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, my brother likes Buffalo Trace too.
I like
He's
Buffalo.
actually
You can
got
find
a
it.
distillery. No, this is really good stuff here. This is actually our second bottle that we've had, right?
Yes, because it was so good.
Yes. And then we've also got on the table here is some Pendleton.
Butterbuck.
What do you think of that there, Jared? Have you tried this yet?
Well, yeah,
It's good. Yeah, it's nice and smooth.
Yeah, so this is true Western tradition. I like Pendleton. I always have.
you like it's got a cowboy on it.
Yeah, I do. Cut with glacier-fed spring. Let's see, both blended Canadian whiskey. It is Canadian whiskey.
Well, that's probably like
Bottled
I
by
don't like it anymore.
what's your problem with Canadian?
yeah.
Hey.
What you don't like? Bottled by Hood River Distillery. I have no idea.
Josh is never going to talk to you again.
But yeah, anywho, we like Pendleton. It's really good. This Traveler whiskey is
Love you, Traveler. It's very brown.
It's really
sugar
nice, too.
aftertaste smell.
Yeah.
It's pleasant. Listen to my pen.
yeah. I was going to say brown sugar.
What did I say?
Well, that's what you said. It's like now are you gonna on your palate type stuff?
Yeah, I'm getting fancy. I like
Yeah,
big words.
you're not fancy.
I don't know big words.
It is big words. But yeah, so that's what we're indulging in.
Yeah. wetting the whistle to
There you go.
talk.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
So that was kind of day on the hill.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
Oh,
Yeah, vote for Jimmy Deano with Down the Barrel.
Yeah. 2 senators for the price of 1.
Exactly. How you can't go
those sales. I think I seen a sign up that said that.
You can't go wrong. We have got to get what is that, Lindahl? All the big billboards. We should do a DTV billboard with us.
Oh, DTV.
There you go.
So you guys with your arms spread apart.
Yeah.
Isn't that what he does in the billboards?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that looks the coolest.
With like his fingers awkwardly
Right.
extended.
Jazz hands. Yeah. No, what's the other guy down there? The injury guy. Is it injury or is it insurance?
So Swara.
He's got glasses, beard.
Yeah, yeah. I seen a lot of his billboards too. He looks like my brother-in-law, Matt, the Unabomber guy. Yeah, he looks, maybe not the Unabomber, but.
Definitely terrorist.
He's going to sue us now.
Yeah, definitely terrorist. Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Just kidding.
We love you, buddy.
Yeah, vote for us.
But yeah, vote for DTV. And hey, if DTV don't work out, vote for Jared.
Yeah,
No,
he's running.
Jared is not running.
He's going to run for something.
We're going to make him run. We're going to write his name in like Garfield.
But we're going to spell it different.
Yeah. You are a good cheerleader. I'm going to get you some pom-poms.
Boom. I've heard that before. Yeah. How would somebody give me some pom-poms?
Yeah.
That's my entire platform. Pom poms for everyone.
Pom-poms for everybody.
Yeah.
Boom.
Right.
I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Let's end it there.
Okay.
Hey, tune in next time.
For
You know why?
who's here next time?
What's happening next time?
Oh,
What are we
we're
doing?
going down to Kansas.
Yes.
What are we doing in Kansas?
Shooting dogs.
Well, we're not going to shoot dogs.
Yeah, not dogs. Jerry
Not
coyotes.
shooting dogs.
AKA coyotes.
You shoot some coyotes. Please
Yeah,
don't shoot dogs.
coyotes. We might drop them off in Iowa.
You might jump out before.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So stay tuned. We may do a 2-3 part series. I don't know what we're
We
going
might
to
even
do
get live.
We might. That would be
Maybe not live. Maybe.
Can we do live?
Well, we could do live. Well, not on this. On that, we could.
On that we could. We might do a live.
I don't know if that's smart.
Probably not. Definitely not going to do questions.
But we'll probably maybe do some content while we're down there.
Yeah.
We'll
Yes.
take some pictures, some video too, and share with everybody.
Yeah. So check out the Facebook, check out YouTube, and everything.
I'm going to post a picture of it. Just kidding. I'll be shooting any damn dogs.
Yeah. Shoot
Coyotes?
coyotes.
Yes.
Predator management.
Predator management.
During
That's what it
calving
says.
season in Kansas.
That's what I said, right?
Yeah, we're protecting calves. Little baby cows.
Exactly.
Little baby
So
hamburgers.
it'll be fun. We'll have a good time. We'll do a few while we're down there, hopefully. We'll take some pictures. And then on April 11th, we meet with
Tom Gable.
there you go.
With
Awesome.
Voyager's Wolf.
Yeah,
And then, so probably you'll hear it on 12th and 13th. Tom.
that is correct. Yeah, we are doing the interview on the 11th, so you have to be after that.
So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that'd
you're going to be right, Jared?
I'm planning on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that'd be cool. Yeah, we should
Unless I'm still pitching back from Iowa.
That is true.
That could happen.
We might just drop you off in Missouri.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
We got skirt corner.
we do just a little bit. So yeah. Well, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah, thanks, Dino.
Yeah. Thanks, Jared.
Saturday.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Representative Jim.
Vice. No, you're vice.
I'm vice. Yeah, you're senator. All right.
I make the rules.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess I don't know. We'll tune in next time and we're going to come up with our
Here's the
campaign
next time.
slogan. Yeah. Here's definitely the next time. See you later, guys and gals.
The Minnesota Deer Hunters Association and Wolf Report proudly sponsor this podcast. However, please note that the opinions, topics, and guests featured may not necessarily align with the views, beliefs, goals, or mission of our sponsors.